We're here with Jonno Proudfoot and Dave Grier, the two chefs that have collaborated together to create the book, The Real Meal Revolution. Guys, can you tell us a bit about the book?
Cool. So this is obviously it's a collaboration with two chefs and then a scientist and a nutrition. The scientist being Tim Noakes and the nutritionist being Sally Ann Creed. And we decided to collaborate because it's necessary to get the information out. And the reason it's a revolution is because it's based on a whole lot of science that completely debunks a whole lot of old theories about diet and what we actually need. So David and I decided to create a practical solution, and instead of what most people call a diet book, having just the diet and then leaving people kind of to their own devices, we created a one-stop kind of pack that has the science, it has the nutritional information, the shopping lists, and then some actual practical application in recipes. So it's been a really cool collaboration. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been brilliant being involved in the book.
You touched on Tim Noakes, so obviously you tell me a bit about the high fat, low carb lifestyle that is in this book.
Okay, so basically the main thing to remember is that we've been lied to about what fat is for your body. Your body needs fat, and over the last 40 years everyone's tried to cut fat out of the diet, and it has done nothing for obesity rates or heart disease or anything like that. So the high fat, low carb lifestyle is it's a revolution against the high carb lifestyle, which is actually what's causing people to get fat. And it's based on a completely different model to what all other lifestyles are based on, which is usually a calorie in, calorie out kind of diet. And everyone's counting calories and trying to eat 5 times a day. And basically, if you eat properly, you don't need to keep topping up and counting your calories. You should just eat when you're hungry. It's based on how we used to eat thousands of years ago. People didn't wake up and think it's 11, I need a snack. Like in the cave. They just ate, and then when they were hungry again, they ate, and that's because they used to eat all the fat of the animal. They wasted nothing. So this is about appetite control and not calorie control.
We'll just looking on to what Jonno said there. Your fat intake is basically your life's thermostat to hunger, and once you reach a saturated level in your diet with fat, that's where the hunger ends until the body utilizes all that fat, changes and absorbs it into the various bits that it needs from it, and then slowly integrates this in the body, you use it up, and then once that's used up, then you're hungry again. Whereas with high carb diets, there's no real nutritional value in it, so you're permanently craving for something to eat. Whereas fat, you reach a saturated level, you use it up, and then the body sort of switches on again. You're hungry again. But as Jonno was saying as well, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And the thing about a lifestyle is it takes a while to integrate into a new lifestyle. There's first the mindset. And I think it's so important that a lot of people think you can just switch into this. It's going to take a while, it's going to take patience, and most importantly, it's going to take understanding of why you're doing it. And that's why it's been very important that in the front there's the layman terms of the science, and in the back it's backed up with the scientific evidence and theories that have been put in by Prof. And we don't say that this is going to work for everyone, but if you feel that this diet's working for you and you can switch into this lifestyle, the results are astounding. And I mean, both John and I are extreme athletes, and it's taken me years of sort of experimenting and trying with this diet and lifestyle to integrate fully into it. And it's difficult. The hardest thing, and we've both found, and everyone says it is to try and give up that sugar addiction.
Yeah.
Which is the fight.
Especially after or during training. A lot of people think, I need sugar. But I've swum 35 Ks this week and I haven't had a teaspoon of sugar the whole time. And I haven't had a Coca-Cola, which is what a certain shopping list told me I should have after my exercise. Just had lots of good fat and some healthy vegetables.
There's obviously a lot of controversy around the diet, or the lifestyle, should I say, regarding the safety and the health. A lot of people assume or think that fat increases your cholesterol. and is unhealthy for you. So what do you guys have to say about that?
Well, first of all, what I'd say is if anyone is in a situation where they are unhealthy, overweight, and they need to change a lifestyle, you obviously will need to go to a physician and check yourself out. And then if this lifestyle suits, how it can enhance you living a healthier life, check it out and adapt to it. But I mean, as we're saying, this isn't a cure for everything and everyone. It's got to fit into your lifestyle, and it's got to fit into what your body needs in that. And that's always the thing. Often people look at diets and lifestyles as an instant switch to health. Nothing is. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes conditioning, and there's so many factors that go into it. But it's the results are there, and there are thousands of people out there that have switched and are seeing the rewards from it.
So, look, neither of us are qualified to comment on the science part of it, but to answer your question about cholesterol and heart disease, the main reason this book's been written is because all the science about cholesterol and heart disease has been completely misstated. And the reason it's controversial is because it goes against huge guidelines set out by the American government. There's lots of corporate finance behind all of these supposed health guidelines that were published, and it was quite a twisted and sick sort of legislative process. And basically, Prof goes into great detail about why cholesterol actually has nothing to do with, it has a tiny bit to do with heart disease, but the main actual cause of heart disease and heart attacks is much bigger than just cholesterol. Cholesterol, more than 50% of the people on earth who've died of heart attacks had the normal cholesterol rate, and people just ignore that. They're like, okay, this guy had a heart attack, he had high cholesterol, well, that's why he died. This guy had perfect cholesterol and he died of a heart attack too. Oh, well, it must have been a random thing, but it happens to half the people, so what are we missing here? And that's what Prof talks about in detail in the book.
Okay. Both of you are endurance athletes. Jonno, you swim and you run far and a lot. How has this diet improved your abilities and your sports as endurance athletes?
Well, from my perspective, I've been running endurance events now for the last 8 years, and I've sort of switched into this lifestyle through personal trial and error. And one of the catalysts was in China, in freezing cold conditions, and that when the guys in Mongolia were giving us chunks of fat to eat and saying, look, if you want to get through these cold conditions lying ahead, you've got to eat this fat to keep your energy levels up and to keep releasing energy through the day, because there's no food further down. And the Austrian doctor with us as well, he endorses as well. He says, look, if you want to survive in the mountains, you've got to start eating this fat. It's the only way it's going to get you through. So that was my introduction into it. And the deeper I've gone into my own ability to run and how I perform better on certain diets and that, this has come to the forefront all the time with me. And if I train now, it's a bag of water and a whole lot of salami sticks, and that's me for the day. And I maintain a really good energy level. And when I get to the end of the day, I dive into as much of a good old high-fat diet that I can scrounge around. But it's always difficult on an event. So that's why I say it's difficult to be 100% into it, because of where I find myself in the terrain and the surroundings. Sometimes there's just a banana to eat for a couple of days, but you get through it.
A hedgehog sandwich.
Your hedgehog salami.
From my side, personally, I must say, I notice now more than ever, now that I've weaned off carbs properly and gone long stints without them when I'm training. If I have a pizza on a Sunday night and start...
so you eat pizza?
If you go out for dinner somewhere and someone's given you, put effort into making you a meal, it's almost impossible to just say, like, no thanks, I'm out. So you're off faced those things. But you can tell, when I dive into the pool the next day after 5 laps, I can tell, like, I've got too much carb going on my system. I feel sluggish, slow and lazy. And when I have 0 carbs in my body and lots of fat, I can just feel like a diesel engine just going and going and going and going. I will say though that sprinting, I haven't had a lot of experience with sprinters and low carb, high fat, and that's another area where we'd like to learn a lot more, because I'm not sure if you have such quick access to your fat stores as you would in a long distance event.